with respect to our deepening program for the harbor deepening 50-foot that's going on right now in the harbor, and the overall comprehensive restoration plan, all of our restoration programs, and then our drift program that the operations division's out there doing. So they're going to learn a lot about what the Corps does, and also getting a good education more so on estuary and what's living out there.
Now, when you mention that, what role does the Corps play locally, specifically in light of this upcoming event?
Well, I think that that one of the good things that we do is have been able to partner over the last 5 years with this, with events like this, and being able to educate. The Corps of Engineers is responsible for being the stewards of the New York, New Jersey harbor, and so the more we can educate, I think it's really important locally to get the word out so that everyone can be a part of improving the harbor.
Now, John, how's your role as a Keene University assistant professor help the Elizabeth River Arthur Kill Watershed Estuary Day event?
Well, I hope that I fulfill two roles. One's personal in terms of the courses I teach in the Department of Geology and Meteorology. I teach courses about water, specifically general courses about the earth for more students. I even teach astronomy, and we have a new planetarium. So we have that particular aspect. We are putting people in the workforce with degrees in the earth sciences and geology and meteorology. I always tell the meteorology students that you need to think more than just the rain hitting the bucket. And there are actually more jobs out there for meteorologists who study things like flooding. As Lisa mentioned before, flooding is an important aspect of this kind of work. So we have water quality and water quantity concerns in urban areas. And it's difficult to get jobs forecasting weather on Channel 7. There aren't too many spots open. I don't know if you've tried for one recently.
No.
Okay. But in any case, I tell my students, if you want to get a job when you graduate, think about your hydrological experiences. How can we parlay that? We need a lot of work in those particular areas. More broadly speaking, our president has taken on a very environmental role these past couple of years, and as a university, as the university in this region, we have a responsibility to the community at a minimum of being a resource, not just for education, for outreach, but also for our expertise. And we started a campus sustainability committee, and this year, one of our themes for the year is Blue Goes Green. Blue is our school color. And actually today, I just left our Campus Awareness Festival, where all of our freshman students in a freshman course have to attend a Campus Awareness Festival, of which myself and other faculty planned a number of environmental events. So they're out there marking storm drains. They're testing water quality on campus. That we have a stream restoration project going on where faculty and students are taking some of the bad organisms, I'll call them, out of the stream areas, trying to plant better species to encourage or enrich the environment. Okay. So, again, that's a big piece of the puzzle too. That I want. Hopefully, the community recognizes the importance of the university and could always welcome contact with us.
Okay. Now, what else is going on in the New York, New Jersey harbor? John.
I'll turn it. You're going over to me. Certainly, the Corps has been busy, as Lisa mentioned before. There's active dredging going on, which is of vital economic significance to keep the port kind of modern, because ships get bigger, waterways tend not to. So, besides that aspect of it, there's restoration going on, and we continue to monitor it. I know the city's looking at it. You have projects such as the Jersey Gardens, which, again, a collaboration, which is kind of a very smart developmental way to think about building in that area.
So are we linked nationally now? I mean, is that what you're saying? Or are we connected nationally?
I think the work has always been at that level in the sense of looking for funding, looking for opportunities, aligning the very local initiatives with what's out there on a national level.
Okay. Now, how do local watersheds impact the harbor and the estuary?
Well, can I go back and just ask about what's going on in the harbor? Because he touched on a couple of things that actually the Corps is working on, and just
well,
I just wanted to. Okay, thanks. Because one of the key things is, as John mentioned, about the harbor being the main port of the port of New York and New Jersey, and container ships coming in, and that we have to dredge the channels. And one of the other things what we deal with in order to keep the channels open is we beneficially use dredge material in the harbor, and end up utilizing it as a resource, as the sediment as a resource, and capping landfills, using it beneficially to cut off leachate from old industrial sites and old landfills, creating wetlands with dredge material. We're doing out in Jamaica Bay, and also utilizing it to build reefs out in the ocean and replenish our beaches with the sand. So we're doing a lot of that with the dredge material. And also with the restoration program that's going on, working with the locals. What's really, I think, a landmark in the next few months. Actually, right now we have a draft of the comprehensive restoration plan that's going to take into consideration all of the things that should be done to restore the harbor, and incorporating actions and identify areas where we've got contaminated sediments, that we're talking about legacy sediments from the Industrial Revolution, and non-point sources, what kind of things to reduce the sediments, to improve habitat, all different kinds of habitat, create wetlands that are critical for estuaries, from a flooding perspective, from a filtration perspective, protecting the upland habitat, and all different types of habitats. But trying to move forward with that plan, working with the local entities in all the watersheds. So those are, I just wanted to, those kinds of things that we're working on in the harbor, among many other, activities that are going on.
Okay. John, anything? Okay. Just want to make sure. Now, how would a healthy estuary impact the lives of local residents here in Elizabeth?
Well, I think that it's really important to have a healthy estuary, so that when people who are living in the communities that want to come down to the estuary, that they actually are seeing a thriving environment, so that they can go bird watching, and they can go and see an environment that actually has an ecology to it, so that they can go and boat and recreate and go fishing. I mean, right now there's fish advisories throughout, where a lot of areas where you can't consume any fish or crabs in the Newark Bay and Passaic area. So I think that there's a lot of economic benefits, especially for the fishery resources, to improve and restore the harbor for that reason, for the communities.
Now, from the perspective of the Corps, is there specific ways the residents can be involved in clean water issues?
Well, I think that from the watershed perspective, and with all the water coming from their neighborhoods down eventually into the harbor, we've got to make sure that the residents can make sure that they don't have any trash that goes into the storm sewers. They don't flood their neighborhoods, their towns, and that they don't put any kinds of household chemicals or paints, so that we don't contaminate. Just all of the types of good green things, like take public transportation, prevent leaking oil from cars from going in from those ubiquitous contamination. But there's just a lot of things that they can do in their own backyard that really make an impact on the harbor. Now,
is there a contact number people can reach out for more information? Or
yes, you can call Future City at 908-659-0689.
And it's this Friday, October 10th,
yes,
8 a.m., Peterstown Community Center.
That is correct.
Okay, I wanted you to just jump in and add a little more. Anything
Until
else?
2 p.m.
I also want to say that if anybody has information, wants to know any information on the Corps, you can go to www.usace.army.mil.
Well, thank you both for coming today and educating us on the clean water issues. I really enjoyed it, and I'm quite sure the residents of Elizabeth have.
Thank you, Alonzo.
Thank you for tuning in to this segment of Our City. Have a great week.